Hello and good morning, all of my Birth Beat family. I hope you are super well. My gosh, if you could just see what I'm doing here. I somehow had pinned Junior underneath the little tripod. Junior and I are logging in to say hello and good morning on this fabulous Monday morning. Sorry, I'm just resetting up my little setup here. There we go, that's better, isn't it? We were out of the office last week. I was in Sydney traveling for some work events and for some International Women's Day events. As you can see, Plant again is very tired. So that is my job once I jump off here, is to try and resurrect that poor plant. So today I jumped on Instagram actually and did a Ask Me Anything question box. So we have had lots and lots of new followers over the last few weeks, which is lovely and wonderful. And it is great to be able to answer all of your questions and support you on your pregnancy or new baby journey, and had so many awesome questions coming through. So I'll get into Instagram and answer those during the day. However, I said, ask me anything. You know, I wanted to get to know you all a bit better, and if you wanted to ask any questions at all, I was like giving it an opportunity for an open playing field. Like, I love those ask me anythings on Instagram, if you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, asking about their family or asking about where they live and things like that. Anyway, none of you have asked anything private, so I was like, oh, well, clearly I am letting you know what you want to know, which is about your pregnancy, your birth preparation, baby and child first aid, or around sleep and settle. So as we get into it and you're all coming in here on our Facebook Live, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Let me know a little bit about you. Either if you are pregnant, you are early in your pregnancy, where you're up to in your pregnancy, or maybe now you have bub with you, or it's your second or third pregnancy. Whatever it is, let me know. Where are you watching from? And tell me a bit about you. Then if you have a question, pop the questions here. If it's your first time here for one of our Facebook Lives and you've either stumbled across it or one of your friends has kindly tagged you, remember, do please share with any friends who are expecting about this service, because I do just love serving expecting parents and new parents. So if anyone needs resources around sleep and settle, baby and child first aid, or childbirth education, please make sure you do me a favor and tag and share this with any friends or family. And that is the power of the Birth Beat group, is that we are so radically generous. You guys are just amazing on the Birth Beat tribe page. I love it all, helping answer each other's questions. So please say hello. Let me know, where are you watching from? I had somebody here said, hi Edwina, my wee man is 5 months, daughter is 2, hope you are well. You are one busy mama, Casey Lee, and doing an amazing job. Krista, my 12-day-old has been grunting for the last 3 nights, only at nighttime, makes sleeping very hard, such a little thing being so loud. Krista, do you know that is so common? I actually had a mum who is in our Birth Beat program the other day send me a video, and I was really alarmed when I first heard grunting. So if, and we teach this in our baby and child first aid, if the baby is unwell or you're concerned that it's anything to do with their respiratory system, so if they're sort of having difficulty breathing, grunting is not a great sign, and I want you to make sure that you are organising to see a GP sooner rather than later. However, if it is just the, and I'm very used to it obviously because I hear a lot of newborns, but they fart and groan and grunt and burp, and they are really, really noisy. And I agree, for such a teeny tiny little human being, how are they so noisy? That is actually, Krista, where white noise works really well. So white noise works well not only for the baby, but it actually works really well for the parents. So if you have a particularly noisy sleeper, white noise can be really great for that, because then you don't hear all the sort of grunting and groaning as much. Again, in saying that, Krista, so SIDS and Kids recommendations say that your baby should sleep in their own independent sleep space in your room for the first 6 months. And I assumed, particularly being a midwife, that I would do that with my baby girl, Polly. However, I think she lasted 3 nights in with us because it was like having a little piglet sleeping next to me. She was so noisy, so grunty, that kind of snorty sound all night. So I feel for you, mama. You do get used to it, but again, I moved Polly into her room, but it was the room next door to our bedroom and I could still hear her grunting. Sammy is watching from Tasmania with her 9-month-old little boy. Welcome, Sammy. Hannah, 2 months old. Poor Bubba has head cold and sinus infection. Oh, no sleep in our household. Hannah, that is tough, and there's so little that you can give them as well at that age. Just remember, if you do need to be giving some paracetamol just to make Bub a little less miserable, you can be doing that. In terms of the sinus infection, Hannah, if you are breastfeeding, squirting a bit of breast milk down their nose, I know that sounds a little bit weird, is actually a really good natural decongestant and can help again with any of that sort of bacterial infection. Also, I recommend to all of my birth beat parents, if you are surviving, and I do say surviving, having any sickness in the household with you or Bub, it is really tough on everyone's sleep. So try and, like, this is a mama to mama tip, try and just wind back on the expectations of things around the house. A lot of what we put pressure on ourselves to do can wait. So Hannah, just focus on rest for you and your beautiful Bubba. All those jobs that you thought needed doing this week honestly can wait. If you have things where you're planned and out and about, maybe just scale those back for a few days and enjoy lots of rest when Bubba is managing to get rest for you as well, so that you've got that energy and a bit of stores for the nights that are coming. I think we place really high expectations on ourselves to get everything done. When babies are sick, when you're sick, just go to ground, take care of yourself. Lots and lots of water, lots and lots of good food, and lots of rest, and we will get you all back on track. Also, if you don't, I would invest in a vaporizer or a nebulizer, and just some drops of eucalyptus oil in that can be great as a decongestant. There we go, they're my top tips. Sage, hello Sage. My son only sleeps settled at my breast. He is 9 days from 5 months old. What can I do to get him to sleep settle without my breast? So Sage, and again, I'm really conscious whenever I talk about sleep and settle, is that when it becomes a problem for you, that is the time that I can support you and help you with that. Anyone who's watching, and I feel like sometimes in this sleep space, it's very political. If you're happy still breastfeeding your baby to sleep with a 5-month-old, then that's absolutely wonderful and fine. But for Sage, she's looking for something else and some other way to help probably break that sleep association. So what happens, Sage, is our babies, particularly after the age of about 12 to 16 weeks, they start to develop, it's like a habit, but we call them sleep associations. And it sounds to me like your beautiful boy has a lovely, strong sleep association with being fed to sleep at your breast. And it's very common. However, what we need to be looking to do is to encourage some positive sleep associations or sleep associations that work for you and your family. And I do, if now is the time for you, I would encourage you to be doing this before they get to 6 months age, because they do just get a little bit more tricky to do that after 6 months of age. So Sage, my recommendation for you would be come and check out our sleep program. I think you could probably, we've got a sleep program specifically for 3 to 6 month old, and there's 3 different ways of settling. I would actually recommend for you probably a bit of shush pat, and I would show you how long to pat and how to pat your baby to sleep. And we're not patting your baby to sleep, you're calming your baby so that you can teach your baby to put themselves to sleep. And that's what we refer to as self-soothing or self-settling. It is no means cry it out. I don't want you, or I'm not encouraging you to leave your baby to cry. We just don't need to do that. We know so much about sleep now that we know that there are much more gentle ways. If that is what you're choosing to do and you want to use the cry it out method, by all means go for it. It's just not the style that I teach. That's not the style that I teach as a sleep consultant or here to help you get some more sleep for you and your baby. So yes, there's lots you can do. I would say come and have a look at birthbeat.com. You'll see our 3 to 6 month sleep program, and where I can hold your hand in teaching you how to get your bub not necessarily straight away going to sleep on their own. It's a bit of a staged program, but teaching your bub to have the gift of going to sleep, particularly so as they're older, they're not requiring you to get them to sleep. So come and check that out. I'd love to help you, Sage. Tegan, morning Edwina, bub is almost 10 weeks. It had some concerns as she was only putting on 100 grams a week. Then last week, 270. Yay! That is awesome, Tegan. And I think that we had also had a chat about that, hadn't we? Whether we're worried about, so the Community and Family Health Service had some concerns as she was only putting on 100 grams a week. Then last week, 270. Brilliant. Normal weight gain, I think for around 10 weeks, I'm trying to think of for a newborn, we'd say about 120 grams a week, I think is the recommendation. Tegan, grab her blue book, which is the little book, it's like the passport that you have as a newborn book, and plot her weight gain on. There's a little, I don't have a blue book in here with me. I'll have to bring in Polly and Theo's blue book. For anyone who's watching in Australia, it's like their newborn passport where you put all their immunizations, vaccinations, and their growth in there. So Tegan, you can have a look at where your baby is tracking just by putting age and weight and then put all the dots together. And I imagine you're going to see a little bit of a jump, which is a great thing. That is excellent. Good on you. I hope Bub is happy and I hope you are very happy. Yoseline says, hi Edwina, my baby girl has a red rash around her neck. Should I be concerned and how should I treat it? Thanks. Yoseline, can you let me know how old your baby is? A lot of babies have either a heat rash, so a rash that often when they get warm, or if the area is not well dried, so if the baby is very drooly or after feeds spits up a bit of milk, you just need to be really conscious that that area is well dried. Or if they're particularly newborn, they might have a little bit of baby acne. So I just am A, curious about the age, B, curious what that rash looks like. I don't want to do any form of diagnosis over Facebook. If you've got a concern, if the skin's breaking down at all, I'd encourage you to get your midwife or GP just to have a look at it. But lots of babies do sort of become a little bit irritated very easily because their skin is so sensitive. So I would, just all those things, have a look at them. If Bub's unwell or has a fever, that is the absolute indication that it is time to see a GP. But rashes are really hard if I can't see it. Sorry, Yoseline, to answer safely. Sarah says, hello, 38 weeks now, ready to see my little girl. I have protein in my urine, but blood pressure is completely normal. Doctor doesn't think I would have preeclampsia this late in pregnancy. Any idea why this could be happening this late in pregnancy? Sarah, I will just say a lot of time our urine can be contaminated. So the fact that you have no blood pressure, so there's different things that can indicate preeclampsia. And preeclampsia is a disease of pregnancy where you have elevated blood pressure. It can make you very unwell and it can make Bub unwell. So that's why we're very particular about checking your blood pressure and knowing if you have any signs or symptoms. Other signs and symptoms are headaches, blurry vision, seeing dots, feeling faint, and protein in the urine is one of the signs. However, if your doctor is not concerned and there's no other indications, then it doesn't necessarily mean that you do have preeclampsia. It might just be a contaminated urine sample. They might repeat the urine sample. There's many things that it could be. But I will just say, and I want to dispel this, that you can get preeclampsia at any stage in your pregnancy. So I wouldn't rule, I can't say, I don't want another woman to be watching this and say, oh, I can't have preeclampsia because I'm 38 weeks. It can actually happen at any stage in pregnancy. So it's just important that I share that. Diana said, hi Edwina, I've joined the sleep program, haven't started yet as 7-month-old son is a bit sick. Yeah, just wanted to ask about the white noise as he sleeps in my bedroom and I can't have the white noise. Anything else you'd suggest? Thank you. Diana, yes. So is it noise for you in particular at all? And I really love that, it's awesome that you've joined the program, but yes, just wait a little bit. You've got access for months to that program. So if Bubby's not well and you're not well, I always say don't start our sleep programs if you're planning, you know, a house move, a holiday, something particularly stressful, but you've got it now and you can start reading through, watching the videos and know that you're really prepared when you are ready to start. But for white noise, is it that you can't have it or don't want it? Because at 7 months old, you might also be looking for him to move into his own room. Might be a nice time to transition into that. And again, that's in our program, how to transition from a bassinet to a cot, but also into their own room. But if you're not wanting white noise, there are other things that you can do, like in terms of, sorry, I should just say, is it the actual white noise or is it noise in general? Because you don't have to use it. It can just be really helpful to help Bub get to sleep. So Diana, just let me know that. Give me a little bit more detail. Krista said, thank you, my pleasure. Casey said, must thank you after masterclass. I have managed to get my 5-month-old waking 1 to 2 times a night rather than 10 times a night. Yay, Casey, that is such good news. I love knowing that with just those small tweaks and small tips with your sleep, we can make a world of difference. This is not, you know, it's not rocket science. Some of the things that I'm teaching you are really simple and really basic, but if you do them and you do them with consistency and patience, it will make a world of difference to you and your life. Casey, that has absolutely made my day. Thank you so much for letting me know that 10 times a night is not okay. That's rough. That's rough for you and it's rough for Bub. I'm sure you had an overtired, sort of grouchy Bub during the day too. So you have made my day. Shani, if anyone else is wanting help with sleep, just go and have a look at birthbeat.com and you can see our 3 programs. Shani has said, hello, 20 weeks along from Tottenham, New South Wales. Awesome, Shani, welcome. I hope you're feeling well. If you want to have a look at any of the free resources that we also offer for expecting mums, just go and have a look at birthbeat.com and have a look under the free resources. It would be a really good idea for you, Shani, if you're 20 weeks, to start looking at the how to get Bub into the optimal birth position, which is all about how to prepare your pelvis and Bub so that Bub is heading into your pelvis like so. We want that to be the way that Bub's heading into the pelvis, not going in at a posterior angle, because that is longer, B, slower, C, more painful labor. So Shani, start those exercises now. It's just a free 10-minute video, how to get Bub into the optimal birth position. It will also help you to feel much more comfortable in the later stages of your pregnancy. And Manpreet said, hi Edwina, my 5-month-old has eczema. We have been using Aveeno eczema, but she is scratching herself badly, and our GP changed to CeraVe moisturizer and steroids cream, but she's still scratching the same. Can you please suggest something? Look, Manpreet, definitely be introducing the steroids if she's scratching and she's very distressed and uncomfortable. And it's really just managing the steroids with the eczema. I would also, and this isn't like any sort of medical, but I would also just look at some oat baths. So literally just soaking some oats in an old stocking, putting that into a bath, incredibly soothing, and it works really well for babies with eczema, but please also be managing with your GP. You might just need to be looking and reviewing the steroid cream. So if it is still an issue, Manpreet, take Bub back to your GP. Thankfully, it is something that babies usually grow out of, but it can get quite nasty. So definitely stay in touch with your GP with that one. Neha says, hi Edwina, Neha from Sydney. Bub is going to be 3 months tomorrow. How can I best dress him for night sleep so he isn't too hot or too cold? I'm still swaddling him in muslin, which he tends to get out of and removes the blanket that I tuck in. Neha, yes, and again, this is something that we cover in the sleep program with how many layers, what thickness of blankets to put on, etc., with the age of your baby and the temperature of the room. So the ideal sort of setting for a room is about 18 to 22 degrees, which is on the cooler side, but like adults, babies actually do sleep well. We don't want them to be overheated. The way to test if your bub is warm enough is not to put their hand on their head or to touch their hands or feet, because those peripheries can actually be quite cool to touch. What I want you to do is go in and put a couple of fingers in on Bub's chest or on Bub's back, when they're sleeping, and checking that that's nice and warm, but you don't want them to be overheating. Neha, I would recommend to you investing in some sleep bags. The beauty of those, because Bub is 3 months old and starting to roll and get out of the muslins, investing in the sleep bags. I don't actually have one here. I've just got the Love to Dream newborn swaddle, but the sleep bags, they have their arms out, and we refer to it as tog, which is just like the thickness of the fabric for how warm. And as the gets cooler in Australia, you might need a thicker bag. So U+1 is what I recommend. So if you're wearing one outfit, you want them in 2 layers, but the beauty of the sleep bags is they can't throw those off. So just have a look at some different sleep bags. That will be helpful for you. Kate says, a big good morning from Kate and Matilda. Hello, 4 months old. Snuggles in the couch on a rainy day at Ningi, Queensland. Oh, Kate, that sounds absolutely divine. I have to say we had a very rainy day here in Tamworth yesterday, and Polly and Theo and I had lots of couch and cuddle time, and it was wonderful. Yes, Hannah said, yes, we've been doing breast milk down the nose quite regularly and have seen our GP this morning. Happy to have bacterial infection ruled out as being having the occasional Panadol, lots of couch snuggles. Good, yes. And we can, you would expect that most of these things are viral. However, it is just good to have it ruled out that it's not bacterial and that they're not needing any antibiotics. Just remember, Hannah, with feeds, Bubba is probably going to be wanting little and often and feeding frequently. So go to ground and just hang out. If it is viral, which we know now, the paracetamol, again, isn't actually treating the symptoms, it's just treating the result of the symptoms, so that grouchiness. It's not actually treating the actual viral issue, but if Bubby's grouchy and not feeding and not sleeping and unhappy, sometimes the Panadol can help. Jennifer Cuevas, hey Melly, I really recommend you watch her videos. Oh, thank you, lovely. You can ask her questions about your baby and pregnancy. Thank you. I love seeing you all tagging your friends. Sage said, thank you. I may check out your program. I'm excited. Come and have a look, Sage. I feel confident we'll be able to help you get some more sleep. Danny said, hi, Edwina, baby's 5 days old today and she has super dry face. She was 1 week and 5 days overdue, bottle feeding and breastfeeding. Is this okay? Yes. Firstly, everything is okay. Okay. I think people sort of say like, it's such a vulnerable time and you have so many people sharing their opinions with you, but whatever you choose to do for you and your baby, that is okay. Okay. So don't worry about mixed feeding. If that's what's working for you, then that is 100% wonderful. Around the dry face though, so she's probably particularly dry because she was overdue. So what we want to be doing is making sure that we can just get some moisture back into that skin. Organic almond oil can be a really nice way to get some moisture back into that skin. Mugu is a really good product. So we don't want to put anything that's heavily scented or has a lot of additives in it because their skin is still so sensitive. So just try those couple of things, Danny. You don't want to be using anything that has lots of smells or lots of preservatives or anything like that. Just keep it as natural as possible and just be putting lots of moisture onto her. It's probably just that she's overdue, that she's going to be dry. And you'll probably notice around her feet and her wrists and things are all very dry as well. Hi, Edwina, my little lady is 4 months old today. How can I tell if she is teething or ready for solids? She has a habit of chewing on her fingers and bringing anything she can reach to her mouth. I can see she's exploring things like this, but sometimes the chewing is so vigorous and she has started to bite me if she gets frustrated while breastfeeding. Is this a sign to start on solids? Mary, look, they can be more strongly the signs to, like that actually just does sound like a bit of teething. It's also developmentally appropriate that they bring everything up to their mouth and they love to chew. I would recommend getting one of those little one of those little teething toys that you can pop in the freezer or in the fridge because the coolness, again, they like to chew on it and the coolness is very refreshing, particularly if their teeth feel warm and swollen. So that helps hugely. In terms of starting solids, it's from 4 months. So it would, you're on the earlier side of things. But first thing, can she sit up independently in a high chair? That's the first thing, because you need her to be able to sit up in a high chair to be able to eat food. Does she, if you pick up a spoon and bring it to her mouth with food on it, does she take interest and lean forward and try to eat the food? And is she watching and interested in you eating food and wanting to get to that food? They're usually pretty good signs that Bub's ready to start solids. What you don't want to do is start too early and it feel really difficult and hard. So it could just be that she's teething. Try the teething toy and then try those other things to see if you think she is interested in solids. Yoseline, so I think you asked about the red rash, didn't you? So you wouldn't think that that would be newborn acne. If it is really red and irritated, it could be a bit of heat rash. So I would just get your GP or midwife, or even just your local pharmacist. The pharmacist is a really, really valuable resource. So just go down to the local pharmacy and get them to have a look at that rash. Would be helpful. Jade, oh Jade, I know you are close. She says, what are some safe methods to help induce labor? And from how many weeks is it safe to do so? Currently almost 40 weeks, not long now, Jade. Please just remember that a normal pregnancy is up to 42 weeks, so it doesn't mean that you're yet overdue. So just be really nice and patient. You can, by all means, go and see an acupuncturist, naturotherapist, or a chiropractor. They've got some really soft approaches to help try and induce the labor. I would also encourage you to be going for nice walks. So walks where you are able to walk one leg up on the gutter or the curb. So what I mean by that, what I want you to be able to do is be walking along with one leg up on the gutter like that, and then you turn around and go the other way. What that's helping do is, if Bub is still sitting high and we want Bub's head to drop down into the pelvis so it starts to apply pressure to the cervix, is walking on a gutter or walking up and down stairs helps rock the baby's head down into the pelvis. So Jade, going and finding some stairs or walking along a gutter with one leg up, one leg down, turning around and coming back, that is also hugely helpful. But go and find a big set of stairs and walk up and down them. My gosh, how is it 10:30 already? So many wonderful questions coming through. Hi Edwina, is it safe to use a hot water bottle on your tummy during the first trimester? I have mild cramping and bloating. I would love to get some warm comfort. Yes, Zoe, it is, but just within reason, okay? You don't want to be overheating, you or Bub. We talk about not going into too hot of a bath or shower. And again, that's because we don't want you to be feeling faint or unwell. That's not going to be good for Bub. But yeah, a warm heat pack is not a worry. You can also take paracetamol, remember. Kirsty, good morning. My 6-month-old sleeps 12 hours at night and night dose. She needs 2 naps a day still. And should they be longer than 40 minutes? Now, Kirsty, again, this is very much up to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, what works for you? What works for your baby? Do you think that she seems tired during the day? So a 40-minute sleep is just one sleep cycle. If you wanted her to be having longer sleeps, we can teach you and show you how to resettle so that she can link sleep cycles so that she's getting an hour and a half. But it's really up to you. If you want longer day sleeps, I'm able to show you how to do that and show you and guide you how to teach Bub to have longer day sleeps, but only if it's a problem for you. If you're happy with 40-minute sleeps, that's fine. But if she seems tired, grouchy, irritable by the end of the day and really fussy, it's likely that she is getting tired by the end of the day. I would expect a 6-month-old to have longer sleeps, but again, it's just up to you and up to your Bub and if they're happy or not. Guys, I am so sorry. I have run out of time. I don't think there's too many more questions, is there? Shaman says, hi Edwina, my baby boy is 3 weeks old and 4 days. I hear him grunting and stretching legs, arms a lot during the night while sleeping. Is it normal? Yes, it's totally normal. Totally normal for them to cry out in between their 40-minute sleep cycles. If they're not distressed and they're just making noise, just leave them so that they can go back to sleep again. If they're calling out and they want to feed, by all means, of course, you're going to be feeding them. But yeah, they are really noisy as newborns. That is totally, totally normal. Hello, Nat. Hello, Edwina, Nat and Eliza. What would you put in the teething dummy to help with teething and swollen gums? There's actually little toys, Nat, that you can get, or little like frozen rings. And again, just make sure that they're safe for bub, not a choking hazard, things like that. And you put them in the freezer or the fridge, and bubs really love them. Really good for swollen gums because the coolness helps take down the swelling. Tina, hi Edwina, bye bubs, 15 weeks old and I feel like my milk is not enough for her. What can I do? I really want to keep breastfeeding. I pump just to make sure there is enough, but I don't have a lot. Tina, I often see this, and you go from having really full breasts after bub is born, and then the demand or the supply just seems to settle down. And I'm not saying peter out, it just settles down. If bub is still gaining weight, Tina, if bub is settled, I am sure that your milk supply is absolutely fine. It's probably just that your breasts have started to not feel so full. So firstly, is bub gaining weight? Is bub sleeping? They're the signs that you have got plenty of milk. It is probably likely that bub's going to go through a bit of a growth stage really soon. So bub might just need to be feeding more frequently for 48 hours, 2 or 3 days, and you'll feel like your bottom is just glued to the couch. That's completely common, completely normal. It doesn't mean you don't have enough milk. It just means that bub's saying, hey mum, I'd like some more milk now because I'm getting bigger and stronger and learning so much more. And so for 2 or 3 days, they'll feed, and that will help increase your supply. And it happens like that with cycles for your whole breastfeeding journey. So I'm confident you do have enough if bub is gaining weight and sleeping. Feel free to send me a DM if you are worried about that. All right, guys, I'm running out of breath. Awesome session. I will be jumping onto Instagram to answer any of your questions that you're sending through in the question box as well. And for all those parents that are sounding like they need some help with sleep, come and have a look at our sleep programs. For all you pregnant mamas, come and join our childbirth education program. The beauty is that you and your partner or your support person can do it from the comfort of your home. It is such a fun program and will prepare you to have your best birth. Plus, we've got our baby and child first aid. So if you're starting to introduce solids or worried that bub might choke or bub's starting to walk around, our baby and child first aid class covers everything from 0 to 8. So I've got plenty to look after you. Come and have a look at birthbeat.com. I would love to welcome you into our online programs and community. Talk soon. Bye.